when I heard about the change being made. I was driving home from, I think it was law school, but I was driving home, going through the Fresh Pond Rotary in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I heard it on the radio, and I pulled over and literally wept. Even to this day, it's emotional. And so it's very deep and fundamental in my life.
That was former Governor Mitt Romney on Meet the Press yesterday, and he was dealing with the issue of race and his faith at the Church of Latter-day Saints. We continue now with Hugh Hewitt, Juan Williams, and Amanda Carpenter. Hugh, you wrote a book about Mitt Romney and his faith and religion, and more specifically, I thought he gave a really great answer, especially talking about his father and his background and his position on civil rights. I thought it was a pretty strong answer.
It was a very good answer. It was a good interview on Meet the Press, just like Rudy the week before. It was a great speech at the Bush Library. When I interviewed the governor for the book, he did get emotional a few times, usually talking about his father, for whom there's such immense affection and respect on the part of Governor Romney for the first Governor Romney. And, of course, Governor Romney did walk with Martin Luther King, did walk out of the '64 Republican Convention because he thought that Barry Goldwater was insufficiently committed to racial equality in this country. And so I think the combination of that, like George Bush, Mitt Romney can get a little misty when you're talking about stuff close to his heart. I think that's good in a candidate.
You know something, Juan? I'm a little fed up at the way Governor Romney's been treated about religion and faith in this campaign. I think there's been a double standard. We had Barack Obama's pastor on this program, Pastor Jeremiah Wright. He advocates black value system for the black family, and he has a whole list of, you know, and I asked him, I said, well, I thought Christianity was inclusive. I thought we judged people by the content of their character. And then, of course, he was invited the day that Barack Obama announced he was running for president, and then disinvited. Why isn't the press paid as much attention to that as Mitt Romney's faith?
Well, wait a second, Sean. You know about it. I know about it. I think there have been whole articles written in the New York Times and elsewhere about it.
There's not been anywhere near the coverage, Juan.
But the difference, I think one of the differences, you know, Jeremiah Wright is right in the mainstream of Christian practice here. He may have some sort of black power ideology, and I think clearly it's a response to the treatment of black people in American society and all that. But what you get with the Mormons, I think, is a strong reaction, questions about the ideology itself. That's why Huckabee comes out, you know, Sunday with this business about don't they believe that Jesus and the devil are brothers, and lots of questions about why he didn't stand up earlier about the way the church was treating black people.
Well, obviously his father was taking a tough stand, and obviously he explained he was in his own personal life, and I thought it was a pretty strong answer. Amanda,
I thought it was great. And I think, you know, in fairness, his father was an exemplar on this, especially in '64. Absolutely.
And by the way, a lot of Republicans were. Lyndon Johnson relied on the Republican Party because people like Al Gore's father were nowhere to be found in '64 and '65.
You could go down a list, Sean. It's a strong argument.
All right, Amanda, the battle between Governor Huckabee and Mitt Romney continues. Governor Romney came out with an ad that goes after Huckabee over the death penalty. Here's that ad, and here's Governor Huckabee's response.
Two pro-life governors both support a constitutional amendment to protect traditional marriage. The difference? Romney got tough on drugs like meth. He never pardoned a single criminal. And Mike Huckabee, he granted 1,033 pardons and commutations, including 12 convicted murderers.
Some of my opponents at this point clearly frustrated that they have spent millions of their dollars. They are now suddenly behind me. Find it desperate, and I think at this time, despicable tactics are the only thing they have left in their arsenal.
You know, Amanda, with the rise of Governor Huckabee in these polls here, there's now been a lot of added scrutiny about clemency, about pardons, about paroles, about past positions on taxes and immigration, past statement. Women submit to wives have made a big controversy. As Hugh pointed out, it's now beginning to show some of the negative attacks are showing some impact in the polls. Do you think Mike Huckabee is going to face some poll trouble as a result of this scrutiny?
I think he will. There's certainly a narrative being pushed that he is soft on crime, and that coupled with taxes, you know, makes for a bad game for Mike Huckabee. But I think his candidacy is more interesting because it represents kind of, you know, a conflict within the GOP between the, you know, the hardcore evangelicals and the people that are tough on taxes. And at the end of the day, we're going to find out whether the economics or the evangelicals win.
All right, let's talk about Ron Paul, who over the weekend raised $6 million on the Internet. In one day, as a matter of fact, also doing a little bit better in New Hampshire. He is not your usual Republican. He's anti-war. And what does this say about Hugh Hewitt, the level of satisfaction or lack thereof among candidates in the Republican Party? Are they looking for something other than what they're getting?
Oh, no, I love the Ron Paul people. I run into them wherever I go to an event. They call the radio show all the time. They're committed libertarians, and the libertarians have always been around the Republican Party, and they never get above 5%. And Ron Paul will do about 5 to 10% in a few primaries. He'll spend his money, and he'll go back to Congress, and he will have enhanced the debate.
But, Amanda, is there a hunger in the Republican Party for the kind of Republican that Barry Goldwater was, who doesn't want interventionism, doesn't want to do nation building, wants less government truly, not big spending, not running up deficit and debt like we've seen over the last 8 years? Isn't that what Republicans always said they wanted anyway?
Yeah, they certainly do want it. And, I think the Ron Paul candidacy is great, and the fact that someone that's, consistent pulls the low, still pulls $1 million in a day, I think that speaks to the strength of Republican values.
All right, Juan Williams, a New York Daily News survey is finding that women are more willing to forgive Bill Clinton than Judith Nathan. It says the News's national poll of female voters found women by a 40 to 35% margin said that Judith Giuliani's affair with Rudy made her less suitable to be First Lady, and they're more forgiving of the adultery of Bill Clinton, with 42% saying his affair doesn't make him less suitable to be First Laddie. Is that because, Juan, would be a First Laddie, so to speak, as opposed to the president, but she would be First Lady? So is there a double standard here?
Well, no, I think that women are discerning here. I think they're seeing that what she did was a direct threat to the family. I think it links into their own fears about what was going on. Someone threatening not only their relationship, but their children. And I don't think
committing adultery does that too. You're a threat to the family.
Well,
you're cheating on your wife. You're cheating on your kids.
Well, I think they imbued Lewinsky more as a dalliance. I think what happened with Judy Nathan resulted in a breakup.
You see that way, Amanda?
Well, I think if you want to pull, the threat of Bill Clinton back in the White House versus Judith, Bill Clinton is going to pull a lot more negatively when you think about the possibility of future affairs, and then you start looking at all the stuff he's been doing internationally.
He's not negative.
There's a story today by Bloomberg News talking about his offshore tax havens where Hillary Clinton and his Bill and Hillary have gotten rich of. So the conflicts of Bill Clinton back in the White House are
Amanda,
much
worse than
Judith Reagan.
That's the opposite of what the poll says. They prefer Bill Clinton in the White House as a First Laddie than Judy Nathan or Judy Giuliani. It's the opposite of what it
I don't think they're taking everything into account.
I see. Well, we thank you very much, all of you, for being with us. We check with Greta Van Susteren, here to tell us what's coming up.